Hello and welcome. This is your triple column blog template. Now before we jump in the tutorials, I want to explain that the tutorials I have for this video and this template is going to be different. I have a double column blog template that I made tutorials for. So I figure, well, I can use those tutorials for this triple column blog template. And it's all going to work the same. So let's scroll down a little bit to show you your template. So as you can see, we got a triple. We got one to the left, one in the middle, and one to the right. Now it might seem a little complex, so you see a lot of empty boxes, and that's for you to add in your extra material you want to add in. And like I said, the double column blog tutorial is only going to have the middle one and the one to the right. So depending on how you want to rearrange things, that's fine. It's up to you. But the tutorials will go through how to add images, how to add your paragraphs, and more or less how to locate each of these boxes. So you can go ahead and explore the tutorials, or you can keep on following. So let's just jump into your about page. And keep in mind, everything will show in the tutorial as far as images, text and how to change it and things like that, and where to locate things like that. But more or less when you go through the code, you will be able to more or less find it easy because it left a lot of spacing in between these parts. So just keep that in mind. So you got some more images, some more text, another image, and some more text right there. Let's scroll up and let's jump into your contact. Same thing, all of this is going to apply in the tutorial videos. So you see you got one image of a map that I just literally just photoshopped out of Google. And you got another little paragraph right here. And you got your email, which you're adding right there. And now the form, I have a video about the forms. And that is this to the left. So people can contact you a little bit faster, let's say. So let's jump into your home and click that. Now this is your index page, your home page. So when people type in your .com, they will show up here, and you can put an image of whatever you want. And as they scroll down, this is where you're going to store your stories at. So when they click it, they literally jump back into your triple column blog. So let's just jump back to the home page. And as you can see at the bottom right here, copyrights, all rights reserved, it stays put. So maybe this right here, click that, it jumps right back to the top. So as you start adding more stories and this page get longer and longer, your audience can just click this button and jump right back to the top if they want. And if you look to the left, they got your categories right here. And you can change put your domain right there, and so on and so forth. And as far as that subscribe button that was at the bottom, same thing goes. We'll talk about it in the forms and where to get those forms from. So now you can go ahead and pause the video and go through the templates and just start imagining what you want to put in there. Or you can go ahead and just jump into the tutorials. Alright, if that's the case, hopefully you have fun, and hopefully my tutorials are easy to follow. Enjoy. Alright, let's talk about web hosting and domain names. Now, for starters, if you do have your own web hosting and you know how that works, then you can go ahead and skip this video. But if you don't have a web hosting account, stick around. So web hosting is basically a company that have a bunch of servers that host your web files on. So when people type in your .com name, then they would go to your website, and therefore they can see it and interact with you in that way. So first, if you want to do your own research about different web hosting companies, you can. But I used a couple, not too many, probably like 3 or 4. But like some are the same, some are not. This one I've been using actually for longer than the other ones because it was a free one at the time. So I just decided, well, I use this free one just to get my hands used to it, get my hands dirty. And then eventually, I just started using different ones to see the difference. And this one seems to be the best. It has a lot of features in it, and of course it's free, and there's also you can pay for it too, but it's really good. Like I said, it got a lot of features for free, which is really excellent if it's your first time doing web hosting and doing any of this web building and web designing stuff in that sense. So you should go ahead and click the link at the bottom, and it will take you to this page right here. And then when you go there, just go ahead and sign up, and then you'll be able to just fill out the forms, things like that. I already have my account, so that's what it is. So if you have your own domain, you can type that in, or if you want to get a free domain, you can type that in. But just keep in mind that if you use their free domain, you're not going to have a .com. It's going to be this .net16.net. So once you why don't you go ahead and fill that out, and I'm gonna pause the video and I'm gonna log into my account and show you a little bit more stuff. Okay, so here we are in your cPanel. So if you happen to sign up, then you will have a spot like this. Now for this first row, we're talking about this, the main menu portion. You got your account details, getting started information, so you can learn more, frequently asked questions, change your password, and you can upgrade your account right there. Next is your domain area, there's subdomains, partner domains, add-on domains, domain tools, web promotion guide. Now the subdomain is basically, if you've seen websites where it's it'll be like blog dot, your domain.com. That's what it is, like a subfolder in a sense. So instead of it being like your domain name.com / a folder or blog, it will be blog dot, so on and so forth. So let's scroll down a little bit more. Alright, you got your mail stuff right here. So this is cool because your mail will be your domain. So it'll be like your name at your .com. And so instead of it being like Gmail, it'll have your web address .com. So it looks more professional. So that's cool. Now MySQL and PHP, these are databases. So if you you can download WordPress and upload it to your file manager, which I'll talk about, and then basically you can have your own WordPress site. So you can do it like that. And then you got website templates, which are pretty cool, but some are just kind of limited in their stance. You will have to know how to program in HTML and CSS in order to add on more or to be able to erase stuff. Alright, so I'm going to skip these two parts right here and talk about that. So if you scroll down a little bit more at the bottom, you got a website builder, which are really good. It's just kind of drag and drop in that sense. But sometimes the thing about that, they just take forever to load. That's why I don't like to use them, because there's a lot of stuff you might not need, but it's just still going to read it as you do need it in the background. So that's why I really don't use those website builders. Now if you go to the bottom, password protected directories, cron job, redirects, IPN deny management, link protection. These are all for some different stuff. If you really want to get into it, you could just type in Google and find out more about this stuff. I really don't worry too much about that stuff. The main part is this FTP details and more of this information up here, and your file manager. Now your file manager is going to be your place where you put your files at. So for example, so just keep that in mind. This is what that is. So I'm gonna move up to FTP for now. So go ahead and pause the video, look around right here, get your eyes familiar with this. And remember, they send you all your information to your email that you use to sign up for, so you can find all your information, which is your password and things like that. So yeah, you can go ahead and click the file manager. I'm not right now. I'm gonna just jump into FTP, or File Transfer Protocols. Alright, so let's get into FTP. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Google. Let me just create a new window. It's FTP. If you scroll down a little bit, you will find this one, FileZilla, and that's the one I use. What the hell? Stupid people in the world. FileZilla, FTP. So you're going to go ahead and open that up. As you can see, you can read this overview. Of course, my screen is a little bit smaller, but go ahead and download for whatever you have. You have Windows, click right here. If you have Mac OS or anything else, just go ahead and download it right there. So while you're downloading it, I'm going to pause the video and open up my FileZilla and show you more about it. Okay, so I have my FileZilla opened up and I already logged in. Now if you look right here, these are your files right here, and these actually represent your file manager. So it's a lot easier to use the FTP or your FileZilla instead of logging into your web hosting account, then logging into this file manager account because you got to re-enter the password. Using this FTP, it's just much faster. It's all right here, and you will find your host, your username, and your password if you click on your FTP details. Now if something's wrong with your password, you can always change it. Once you click this, there will be a button that says if you want to change your password, or if you don't find it in there, you can go up to your account details and it'll show you all that good information. So once you downloaded your FTP, go ahead and put in your information all right here. And if you, like I said, all your information is in your FTP details. So when you log in, and don't worry about this port right here. This is automatically, it does it automatically. Unless you know about ports, then just leave it blank. So once you log into your FTP, you're gonna see these files right here. Now of course, you're not gonna do nothing with these ones. You're just gonna go ahead and open this public HTML. And as you can see, I got my website already in here. There's a bunch of files, but more or less you see some of the same ones like CSS, images, I got a portfolio, I got a store page, things like that. I got a blog page where I store all my blogs at. So for you, what you want to do is basically copy all these and then simply drag them into your folder. Now I don't want to do that right now because I don't want to mess up my files, but that's as simple as that. And then once you drag them in, remember your index page is your home page. So whatever that page is, is going to be your home page. So just like mine, I got my index right here, I got my about page, and I got a contact right here. And don't worry too much about this other stuff. But those are your main ones, as in yours, your index, contact, and about. And then of course your must read, you can go ahead and save that somewhere on your desktop just in case you need to go through the videos again. So now that you're here and you got your files uploaded, let's talk about domain names, because depending on if you got your domain with this web hosting account, or if you went to, let's say, GoDaddy and bought a domain right there, there is some things you have to change up if your domain does not work. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video again, go into my GoDaddy account and show you how to point your domain to this web hosting. But like I said, if you bought a domain name with this web hosting, you don't have to worry about it. Everything should work out good. But if you have a domain with some other company and you have this web hosting company, you're going to have to point to it. So I'm going to go ahead and pause that and go to my GoDaddy account. Okay, so you purchase your domain name. say from GoDaddy or wherever you felt comfortable buying it from, or whatever the cheapest was. It's perfectly fine because they're more or less going to work the same. So now that you got your domain, you have to find this name server settings. So it might be different depending on what company you have, but there will be one. And if you need more help with the company, you can just go ahead and contact them, and they will be glad to help. So mine already changed it to custom, but when you have it in standard, it's going to have something like this, and it's a one.godaddy.com. So you're going to want to push custom or find a way so you can change it. And once you find that part, you're going to want to change it to your web hosting company's domain name. And to locate your name servers on your web hosting, just simply click your account details, and it will show you all that information. So as you saw, I had mine like this. You can also use this number, but I think it's just much safer to use this. So you got to have both of them. So it's name server 1 and name server 2, and you're basically going to plug those in to your domain's name company. But like I said, if you have your web hosting and your domain from the same company, all this will be the same. So hopefully that makes sense. And now that you got your web hosting, and now that you got your domain, and we talked about the FTP and how to upload your files, let's go ahead and get started with your file and your website you want to create. Alright, let's talk about text editors. Now, text editors are what you need to build your website or whatever you want to make. And it's different from WordPad or environments like that where it's just simply text. You need a text editor in order for your files to be saved as a website. Now, the page we are on right now is Sublime Text. Now, this is one of the newest text editors around, but it is really, really good. So I suggest you go to Google, type in Sublime Text, go to their website, and download it. It is compatible with both Mac OS computers and Windows and Linux. So basically, it's well-rounded, so it doesn't matter what type of computer you have, you will be able to still use it. Now, let's say you have a Mac and you don't want to download Sublime Text. You can go ahead and type in Google Text Edit for Mac, and then you can just find a website to download it from. But I think Text Edit on Mac OS is already built in, so you don't need to download it. And if you can't find it, you can, there's a couple of websites like right here. I can't find my Text Edit on my Mac. You can just simply read that and you'll be able to find it. But more or less, it should be in your applications folder. Now, if you have a Windows, there's one called Notepad++. And this is one of the newer ones also. And it's nice and free too, but it only works for Windows. And vice versa, Text Edit only works for Mac. So, I suggest you just simply click the link below, go to Sublime Text, and go ahead and download it. It'll be right there. So you download it for Windows, but if you scroll to the bottom, Sublime Text is available for OS, Windows, and Linux. So, and also right here, cross platforms. That means it'll work in any environment. So this is the text editor I use. So go ahead and download Sublime Text, and I'll see you on the other side. Alright, let's get started on your double column blog page. So let's just scroll down a little bit, show you how it looks. So you got your main spot for your article. And if you scroll down, you got your image placeholders right here. Your text, got a couple of more images, read more category spots right here, which is the same as up top right here. Then you got your home, about, and contact. And if you look all the way to your right, you will see your recent posts, your Instagram pics, or if you want to use a different one, you could, like Tumblr or something like that. Then you got some ad space right here, so you can advertise some products you want to tell the world about. You're subscribed, so people can subscribe to you, or you can be able to contact them and they contact you. And now you got box 1 and box 2, and this is for whatever you want. And we'll discuss all that good stuff later on. So if you are watching this, let's jump into your files. So let's talk about this one real fast. CSS, this is where your style is going to be. So you got your about style and your contact page style and your double column blog style, which is what we are currently looking at. Next, we got our images. So all the images you will see are all right here, and I will talk about that. Now, JS stands for JavaScript. There's nothing in here, but that's another language. Those are for like image sliders. So you see the images scroll past automatically. That's what that language is for. But we won't talk about that because I don't have that in here. But you can look it up on Google if you want to add it in. Now videos, of course, same thing. I don't have nothing in here. But after we talk about paragraphs and images and links, then we'll talk about videos. Now you got your about page, your contact page, your double column page, your index page, which is going to be your home page, which I will show you right now. And then this must read is where you're going to have all your videos and your tutorial videos for this page. So like I said, let's talk about the home page real fast because that is your index. So when you get your domain and your web hosting, this is the page they're going to go to. And when they go to it, they're going to see your first story you wrote. They're going to click it, and then it's going to go to your double column blog page. Alright, so if you have not yet opened it in your web browser, the way to do it is to right click on your file, go to open with, and I have mine open in Google Chrome. You can use Internet Explorer or whatever web browser you would like. Since I already have mine open, that's fine. Now as far as your text editor, same thing goes. You right click, open with, and now since they don't have it right here, you want to choose another app. Now this screen will pop up. Since I got my Sublime text already open, it always pop up right here. But if you have not downloaded it, you should pause the video and download Sublime Text. It's really good. It's the best text editor out there I use so far. So say you pause the video and you downloaded it and you still can't find it, just keep on scrolling down and you'll be able to come across it. It should pop up right here. And if you don't see it, you might have to check where you downloaded your Sublime Text. So you might download it in your let's say download file folder right here, or documents. You know, it probably you download it in pictures. So depending on where you download it, you just want to make a shortcut to your desktop, or you can just pin it to your taskbar at the bottom. And remember, you can't use WordPad, and that's just how it goes. Can't use those type of environments to write your code. Alright, so now that you have your text editor open, I have mine open. So let's just jump to the paragraph section because it's a little bit easier to find, and we'll talk about that. So I'm gonna open my text editor. Now there's gonna be a bunch of stuff you might not know, and if you do, that is cool. But let's just scroll down and look for your paragraphs. Now you don't have to scroll as fast as I do. You can take your time and just kind of get a bird's eye view of what your page looks like in this area. Alright, so here we are. We are at the title. So we just go ahead and boom, okay, now you know where we are. So of course your title will be right here, and whatever your story is about, that's where you're going to place your title. And now you got your date right here, and you're the author. So you're going to write the story, or maybe somebody else wrote it and you just wanted to put it on your website. That's fine. So next we got this image place right here. And when you see things like this, especially this div or divider, if you want to call it that, just think of it as a container or a block which takes up the whole screen. So in that div or divider, I have an image, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, but just keep in mind that is the image, which would be this giant one right here. Alright, so here we are at the paragraph section. Now, when you write your story, this is all dummy text, so this is just a placeholder or a filler. So when you're ready, you can just go ahead and delete that, and then type whatever you want to type about in between these tags. Now, the tags are these, and this is called a tag. Basically everything that's kind of this orange color are called tags, HTML tags. Usually there's an opening one and a closing one, and the closing always have this / right there. So when you write your paragraphs, just make sure you have them in between these P tags. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back to normal. So just keep that in mind, depending on how much you want to write. Just always keep that in there. So next will be, now you guys look down right here, you got another image, which will be this image right here. And you scroll down a little more, you got 2 images right there and 2 paragraph spots. Actually 3 right here. So let's say you only wanted to use just 2 paragraphs, or just 1, let's say. Let's make it easier. So you just want to use 1 paragraph. You can go ahead and delete it and save it, which is Control S. Go back to your browser, and you hit F5 or refresh, which is this button up here, to reload the page. And now I got my paragraph and my image. Now it looks a little funky because when you start to delete stuff and things like that, it just becomes a little trickier. So I'm just go ahead and actually just delete this one right fast, save it, and see how it looks. Alright, so that's fine. But maybe you want some more text right here. So let's just go ahead and add another paragraph and see how that looks like. Right after that image, save it. Okay, so now it looks better. So depending on how much you want to write, that's how it goes. You can delete it and then, you know, write it yourself. But another good practice is to use comments. So comments are basically a way to tell the browser not to look at this. So what you want to do is a less than sign, which is located near your M, explanation, then dash dash. Now you find the end of your paragraph, which will be right there. Now you go dash dash, then greater sign. Now we can go ahead and save that. And now you will notice that it'll probably look the same. I got my read more, which I deleted, but that's what you want to use. So therefore you can always have your paragraph around. So when I need another paragraph, I just simply copy and paste where I need it to be. So it shouldn't be too hard. And it goes the same for, let's go jump to your about page. Same thing as this. When you see your paragraph, you know, you're just going to look for it in the code and simply just change it up. And it goes for all this good stuff too. We'll talk about that a little bit more, and also in your contact page. You got a little paragraph right here, so on and so forth. So now I'm going to hit my home button, and now just click this one again. So now I'm back where I am. So those are your paragraphs, and just keep that in mind. You can either delete it or use these comments so you can just save it for later. And now I still got an image too, so say I want to use another image, I just simply go right here, do the same thing, save it. Now I should have another image somewhere. Alright, see? But now you want another paragraph right here just to bring that read more button down, or you can just simply delete it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back to regular. Alright. So now that we talked about paragraphs, and keep in mind all these tutorials and things I'm going to show you, it's going to be the same for your about and contact page. So I'm not going to jump into your about page. Just keep in mind everything will be the same. It's all a matter of just kind of looking and finding it. And if you notice, I have like a lot of space in between, so everything is kind of blocked off in its own right. So if you see this category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you will know, all right, my categories are right here, and things like that. So now, since we talked about paragraphs, let's jump into images. All right, let's talk about images. Now, if you scroll down your double column page blog, you'll see we got a couple of image spots. We got this main one, which we kind of talked about in the paragraphs. You got your other ones right here. You got 2 more on the side right here. This will be for your Instagram pictures. This one for advertisement, and so on and so forth. So let's get into it. And now when we go to our about page, we have our logo image and our social links right here. We got another image right here. Scroll down. I just put my portfolio, but you can put your images or something you want to change it up to. Now we got another big image placeholder right there, and also at the bottom. But when you think of it, just keep in mind that when you see any images, it's always going to refer to the same as all of them. Same thing right here. We got an image right here as a placeholder. And there's a way I think you can put like an actual Google map right here, but I'm not going to discuss that. I just put that there. You can just leave it like this, or simply did what I did is go to Google Maps, find the location you want to use, and then simply just kind of use one of these photo snipping tools right here at the bottom. You can download it, and then you can go ahead and snip all your photos you want. So now let's just jump back to your double column page. Like I said, all these images are still going to refer to any other page. So anytime you do see an image on any other page, you can be able to just upload it and add images in yourself. Now this image right here is a background image, and I will have to talk about that later when we talk about CSS. So let's go and start with these social links right there. And when you look at this, I try to put everything in order. So once you see these images first, next down the line will be this logo and this image right here, and then next down the line will be your menu, and so on and so forth. So I made it like that so it's just much easier to find. Alright, so we'll scroll all past this, and we are in the top container. And like I said, it's 1 by 1. So this is first, so that should be right here. So we got our Facebook. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. So we got our image folder or images folder, and in that folder I want to use my Facebook 32.png. So if you jump in your folder, you will see where is my Facebook right here. And if you see right there, when you hover over, it says item type is PNG. Now there's different ones. There's a JPEG, JPG. There's a GIF, which are those moving photos. Those are pretty cool. There's ICO, and there's numerous of different ones too. But I saved it as a PNG, so that's why I have it PNG. So if I saved it as JPEG, I would simply have to just put it like that. But if I save this and I push F5 to reload, now you'll see my images is broken, and that's because I saved it as PNG. Now you're gonna have to keep a close eye on that. So when you download image from Google or something, just make sure you are able to save it as something. So just keep that in mind. And all these social links, you can download them. There's free versions of them, and there's some that they have like a license for them. So just be aware on what you download. So if you have a Google Plus, you can go ahead and find a better looking button in Google, download it to your images, and then simply copy and paste it right here. And like I said, depending on what you saved it as, that's what you're going to put after the dots. And like I showed you earlier, if you hover over it, it will show you your item type right there. So this one is a JPEG, if you can see that. And another way to find out is to right click, go to properties, and then you'll see type of file, PNG right here. So that's why they have a .png. So just keep that in mind, that when you download files and you're ready to save it, just save it to, a specific time. Like if you want to use all JPEGs, that would be fine. But they say they're different. Like I think PNG is like a little bit lighter, like more compressed, so it's easier to download it. It transfers faster, things like that. But for the most part, you just use JPEG. It'll make all your photos easier, and that way you don't have to worry about like what photo is this and did I save it as. Just try to save it all like as a JPEG. Now we scroll down, we see our Twitter button right there, and then we got our Instagram, which is right there. Alright, so now we got that out the way, and as you can see, think of this as blocks. When you see something like this, ID, social icon, just say alright, anything in between this div right here, or this one. Same thing as a paragraph, just think of it as a block. So in this block, I have my images. So for my next block, I'm going to have an image and some paragraph. So let's scroll down a little bit more. So here we are. I try to keep it as separated as I can so you don't get too confused. But the same thing goes with the images. In my images folder, I have an image called image placeholder.jpg. And ALT, or alternative, is when something goes wrong with your text. So say I put it in there and I forgot to add the P, and I save it. Now my link is broken, but the logo goes here. So you can change this up to whatever, but that just goes for if something is wrong, then the people on the other side that's looking at your website will understand that there's a logo right there. So go ahead and save that, refresh it back, so we're good. Now as far as images go, all images start like this. IMG source, and you need these carets if you're wondering what those are. But every time you want to add an image, or you're just trying to look for an image, just realize that IMG is what it is. Now if you look right at the bottom, this text right here, you can go ahead and change that up to whatever, but it's right here. And I put it right there so it goes to show you, and it's much easier to find like certain images. So like this image, you know that, alright, well, since I see this text right here, then this image should be somewhere around there, which is right there. Now let's say if I wanted to add it right at the bottom. Let's see how that works. So I have two images, see how that goes. Alright, so therefore it went like that, but I will have to increase this whole piece in order for it to fit. But that will be later on in CSS, which I'll show you. But you can add on, delete, things like that. But just keep in mind that if you do delete stuff, it might, look a little funky. But for the most part, you probably might want to leave it like this. Alright, so we got that out the way. Like I said, this background image is in another file, and we'll talk about that when we talk about styling and CSS. So same thing goes, you got your paragraph image right there. And as you can see, I left a lot of space right here. You got your category spot. You scroll down. Alright, we got your title, your date, author, so that means you're getting closer. And now right here you will see, okay, this is my image. And I named it main image paragraph, so this is the main one, and then you got like secondary, things like that. So that's the same thing goes. Whatever image you want to use, you simply download it, put it in your image folder, and make sure you save it to the right extension, and then you will be good. Now, as you can guess again, image source, and now you can add another one, delete this, and things like that. But like I said, it's easier to use these comments just so you can always still have your place. Now we keep on going. Well, I have this comment it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and uncomment so it has two images. Save that. Alright, so there we go. Now we got both our image right there. And as you can see how I titled it or classed it, image paragraph right, which would be right there. And then the next one is image paragraph left. So you know it's left right there. So you can keep on doing right, left, right, left, right, left if you want. But it's up to you. So let's just jump to this right column and find those images. Now those are some circle ones as you can see. So they're going to be a little bit different. And for the most part, you scroll down. And if you can't find your right column, like I said, I left a lot of space. Or I like to leave a lot of space, and you can see right column container. So I'm referring to this whole container. And now everything inside that container will be there. So you got your recent post, which we talked about right here, recent post. Now if you close this a little bit so you can see it. Alright, so you got your recent post. Now you can change that to whatever you want. Now we scroll down a little bit. You got your image right there. And then article title goes here. So when you start writing more and more posts or blogs, then you can put them in there, or you can just delete this just to make it easier for yourself. But you know, say you have your main blog and then you have two more articles right here. You can put them right there if you want. And you scroll down a little bit more, the next one will be right there. So you got article 2 image, which will be right here. Same thing goes. Look for your IMG tag and then your source. And your source is a folder called images, and in that folder is an image placeholder dot whatever your extension is. Now for this one, I'm gonna go later on and talk about how you can actually put your Instagram pictures in here. So I just put that as a placeholder. So it's be right here, you know, as your Instagram pics. But I'm gonna show you a way where you can have your Instagram photos automatically pop up right there. And that's what you want to do first before you start writing your blog. So every single page after that will have your Instagram photos in there. Now we go right here. The next one is ad space, so advertisement. So if you heard about affiliate groups, you can type it in affiliate groups and you'll be able to find one. But it's basically promoting somebody else's product, and you know, if somebody buys it from your website or click the link, let's say, and then you'll be able to get paid from that advertisement. Alright, so now we passing with subscribe. We'll talk about that when we talk about forms, which will be later on, because we'll talk about that when we jump into the contact page. Now as far as box 1 and box 2, there's you can put a Twitter account right here or your Facebook feed and things like that. Box 2, the same thing. You can add whatever you want. So I'm gonna leave that really up to you, but I will discuss that when I talk about adding in Instagram, or widgets is what they call it. So now we got our we're done with pretty much the photos. You can see we got some more down here. As far as this read more, you can delete it, but it's up to you. I just added that in there just for kicks. Alright, now that we discussed the images, let's talk about links. Alright, let's talk about links or anchor tags. Now, of course, links are your bread and butter of your website. Now, the first website that was ever made was basically based off links. So it's basically a book with links, and links are basically like this. When you hover over, you'll see a line. Most of them are blue, but you can change that color, and I'll talk about that when we talk about CSS and styling. But it's simply that, a link that links to my about page, or a link that links to my contact page, and a link that links to my home page. And now we got a menu right here with some more links. And now I have a box with my story, and I want to link that story to my blog page, and therefore you can see what I have written. And the same thing goes for your social links. Now these are inert, which means they're not going to go anywhere. But this is what we're going to discuss. So if you have a Facebook page, you can be able to have people click this link and go to your Facebook page. And now there's a way to add like a like button, which I will talk about when I start talking about Instagram and how to add in widgets like that. But let's stick to links. Alright, so let's jump into your code. Now, so let's start with the Facebook link right at the top as we started with. Because it's much easier and it should make more sense when I talk about it like this. Alright, so this is your link. Well, actually, this bottom A2. So anything in between this A tag is going to be a link. So my Facebook image is a link. So when you hover over, you can see how the cursor changes. That's how you know it's a link. Now let's say if I deleted this and put something right there, let's see what will happen. Nothing has changed, but if I hover over the Facebook, you see that it's nothing. It's just the image without a link. My Google only works, Twitter and Instagram, but not my Facebook. So let's just put click me. Let's see what happens. Save it. F5 to refresh, or you can push this button right here. Alright, so I got my click me now. As you can see, anything in between this A tag right here, or anchor tag, will be a link. So I'm going to go back and put everything back to normal. Save that. Alright, so here we are, back to normal. Cool. Now, say you have a Facebook page and you want them to click the link and go to your Facebook page. It is as simple as logging into your Facebook account and basically copying the address that will appear right here. So I'm gonna just go to YouTube real fast. Oops, let me spell it right. YouTube. Now simply the same thing, because I really don't want to go to my Facebook page. So you simply copy that, go to your link, paste that right there, save it, go back, hit refresh, and now I will go to YouTube. Pretty cool, right? So keep that in mind. You can send anybody anywhere. So like I said, just go to your Facebook, log in, and when you're on your page, not anybody else's, not your friend's page or anything like that, go to your profile page, and at the top they will have an address like this, but not like this, but you know, in this bar there will be an address. You just simply copy it, paste it in between the quotes right here, and then save it, refresh your page, and people can click and go to your Facebook. And from that on, say we have it on YouTube. I'm gonna go ahead and use this example again. Say they click here, but it still renders in the same page, but you want it to open up a new browser. So I'm gonna show you how to do that real fast. So you can just go ahead and type this in. So you want to put target equals, and in quotes, you want to put a underscore, which is shift and the line next to your 0 up top, and then put blank. Now we'll go ahead and save that. Now this is going to open a new browser, which is better, so they'll still have your website open, but have, you know, your Facebook or whatever page you want to send them to right there. So that's a cool way of doing it, so they don't, you know, they can always still have your website open. Now if you don't want it that way, you don't have to, but I think it's pretty cool to keep it that way. So you can go ahead and just copy and paste it to all your tags right here. That would be cool. But I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So now that we discussed these anchor tags, just keep in mind, wherever you want to send them, just copy and paste the address right here. Alright, so same thing goes if you have a Google Plus account, or if you have a Twitter account, or an Instagram account. It's all working in the same fashion. Now we scroll down a little bit, you can talk about the menu, which is going to be the same thing, just with words. So right here I have my index, which is my home page. All right here, got my home, my about, and contact. And my about right here, and my contact right here. Now for a quick demonstration, say you have a folder, which I'm going to just create one right now. Let me just call it folder. So I'm going to just put folder. Say you have this folder right here. And now in that folder, you have your about page. All right. And your contact. Go ahead and close that. Go right here. I'm going to hit refresh. See what happens. So my about, your file was not found. Same thing with the contact. Your file was not found. So that works as the images. So since I have it in another folder called folder, now this should work. And if it doesn't, my bad. But that's how it works out. So since in the beginning, I didn't have it in a folder and it was on my main, in my main file, let's say, or on my main screen, I didn't need the folder. But since I have it in a folder, just like your images, it's saying in this folder, there's an about page, which I want you to contact. So let's refresh, see if this works. All right, it does, but something's wrong with the CSS, which is the styling. So it does work, but what's wrong with that is I'm in a different folder now, and my CSS is in a different folder. So let's try this out. Oh, no, that's when I have to go to my contacts. So basically, this is your link to your style sheet, which I'll talk about later on. But that's what's wrong with it. I have to go into my about page and literally just add a slash right here, and then everything will look back to normal. So just keep that in mind if you start to move stuff around and you want to add things in different folders, and especially your articles when you start writing your blog more, you're going to want to keep a folder to store them all in. But if you don't want to do that, you can just have them all in the same spot. So I'm going to go right here, drag these out. Now I can just go ahead and delete that folder. So same thing goes when you upload it to your web hosting. You can have all your files all right here. You don't even have to worry about any other folder. But in kind of the real way, when you start to write it, it might look a little crazy where you have too many files on just this page and you want to make a folder for it, or even use folders to separate it. So if you have one page talking about sports, or you have a folder just simply about sports, then you want all your blog about sports in that folder. And then if you talk about, health or anything else, you have a separate folder for that. But like I said, we'll talk about more CSS and how that happened again. So I will go back to that and use that technique again when we start talking about CSS. So for the most part, at the beginning stages, you can keep all your files right here. So therefore, all the links work in that same fashion. So you don't have to worry about putting folder slash, your about. So let's go back again. All right, so everything's back to normal. Cool. All right, so let's talk about a little bit more links. We'll talk about these categories, and you can change these up or delete them if you want. But the same thing goes. Once you have your category, see right here, since category 1 is sports, you have a folder, and in that folder have sports.html or whatever your file is. But more or less, this should be a folder that leads to like another home page in that sense. So this category is sports, and instead of just having one page talking about sports, or having one page and having this page go on forever and ever with so many different sports stories, you're going to have multiple pages in this sports category. So that's when you'll use something like the home. So you have, your first story, second story, third story, and so on and so forth. And this is in a folder. But we'll talk about that in the workflow video also. So, and we're still talking about links, same thing. A href, or hyperreference if you want to call it that. and anything in between this A tag is what it is. So say I'm writing a story and I want to link it somewhere. So I heard of a story and I want to mention this story in my article. So I can just go right here and just click me for the others story. So I can do that. Click A, save it, and as you can see, a little bit light. Try to zoom in. Can I zoom in? All right, here. Click me for the other story. So you can do that, and let's talk about this little space right there that's not there. So right here, I'll have to see if that works. Add a space. Now we got our space. Even though that wasn't part of the link, but it'll look weird. But that's how you'll add links into your paragraph if you want to add it. So if you see it, find a story on CNN that kind of reference what you're talking about, or vice versa, you want to mention it, that's all you got to do is simply find your words you want to use. So if it was a CNN story, you can just put CNN news or whatever, and then wrap it with the anchor tags. So you can do that for any other words. You can do that for the whole paragraph. It's up to you. But just keep that in mind that you can use those anchor tags virtually anywhere. As you've seen on the images, we can use it on images. I can put one around this image, anything. Even these article ads right here, which we are when we start getting more into it. So I could add links around that just for fun. So let's do that, because eventually we're going to need some links right there. And the article goes here, and then it's going to link to another page like this. Same thing goes your image, whatever image you want to use. And now around this, we'll go ahead and not fill it in, but I'm going to just add the anchor tags. Save it and see what happens, see how that looks. Alright, so there you go. You hover over it and voila. Now you can put one around the image tag also. And usually for good measures, people usually do that. So it's not just the text, it can also hover over the image and you still be able to click. So it's like in this whole block. And let's actually try that out. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these. And now, since I have my article right here, and our article image and my article title right here, I'm going to go right here, right above this div class, and wrap this whole thing and see how this works. So I got my A up there, and I want the image in there, and I want this article. Alright, so that's cool. Now we just jump right here, right below this place. And now this div article module is this container. So just kind of keep that in mind, that when you are messing around with this stuff. Alright, so it works out the same. Usually, yeah, it'll be like a more squarish since I wrapped the whole thing. So let's try it down here, see if there's any difference. No, same thing. So that's how it goes when you want to add your A tags. Alright, so let's talk about videos. Now we talked about images, we talked about paragraphs, we talked about links. So let's say you have your image right here, you got your story with another image, more of your story with another image. But now at the bottom, you would like to add a video. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Now let's scroll down past your paragraphs. And let's put it right here after this, before this read more in social container. Now it might look a little funky, but we'll talk about that if it is. So you're going to have to do a little bit of typing on this one. So first we're going to add our video tag. So you got your less than sign, video. Then We'll go ahead and just close that off. Give a couple of lines. Now we're going to close this off. So you close it with that. Same thing as your paragraph. Now you know this is the end of the video, or this is the end of the block. So video. Now close that. Now let's go ahead and jump inside right here. So we're going to put source. Now src equals videos, which is our folder, and the name of your video. So I'm just going to name video.mp4. Alright, after that we're going to put type equals, and in quotes, video / mp4. Go that, carry it off. Now you can type it again or copy and paste it. Let me just copy and paste it real fast. Now we're going to just change up this bottom mp4 to OGG, and same thing with this mp4 is OGG. Now that for reasons if this mp4 don't work right here, then it's going to go to OGG. But for the most part, mp4 usually do work. Now, like I showed you earlier, in your videos folder, there is no video, but you can go ahead and add a video in there and basically put in the name right here in both of these spots, and you should be good. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, see how it looks. Alright, so something happened right here, but you can't really tell because I don't have a video. So let's go right here up to this video and simply put controls. Save it, reload. Alright, so now we got our controls right here. Now we can add some style to it. So if I put style, and in quotes, let's put the width to 100% and the height to 350 pixels. Save it, see how that looks. As you can see, it got a little bit more, so it's 350, and if you can look, there's a little line right there that stretches all the way across the screen, and that's what we want. So as far as that, that's how video goes. Now I'm gonna pause the video and throw in a video just for a better demonstration. Okay, so I went ahead and added a video in my videos folder. So now my title is this MB0180. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. And now, like I said, as the images goes, you want to make sure your extension is the same. So this movie file is a MOV. So I'm gonna go ahead, okay, MOV. I'm gonna jump into my text editor. I'm gonna go ahead and just simply copy and paste that name right there. And now, since it's not an MP4, it's a MOV. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there. Now for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and just add it just in case. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that. Now refresh. Alright, so now we got our video. So in your folder, I'm pretty sure I already deleted it, but as you can see, more or less any type of video you have, you can do it. And this is just me skateboarding. So yeah, it depends on what your extension is. So like I said, usually MP4 is the #1, but since this file was saved as OMV, then therefore you have to use that extension. And like I mentioned before, the OGG, I almost landed that. The OGG really not necessary, but it is just in case this MOV don't work. So you might have to save it as an OGG. But I'm going to go ahead and delete that and see if it still works. Alright, so it does. But just keep that in mind. If your videos don't work, just do a quick Google search and just kind of see what's wrong with your video. Alright, so now that we discussed those type of videos, I'm going to go ahead and put everything back to normal. Like I said, you're not going to have this video in your file, but you know you just got to copy and paste the video that you want and place it in there. I'm going to go ahead and save that. put everything back to normal, so no video is in there, as you can see. Now we're going to use those comments, and also I might just leave this in there so that way you don't have to type, but I just started the video off like that so you can get your fingers a little dirty. So I'm going to comment that out, save it, and now everything should disappear as so. Now another way of doing it is YouTube. So you can simply go to YouTube, and now I'm not going to snake any of these videos. I'm going to just go to my channel and click my video because I don't want to be sued by anybody. So I'm going to pause this. So you go to YouTube, and like I said, whatever video you want to use, just go to share, embed, and just simply copy and paste this right below your video tag. Now let's save that, go back over here, refresh, and now we got our YouTube video in there. And now the same thing goes, we got our height and width right here. Now we can delete that and just put this in there, copy this, go ahead and delete that. And then when you see the style, it is the CSS, but there's different ways of doing it. But this is not the best way, but it's simply a good way when you're starting off to measure everything, and then you want to copy and paste that code into another file. But we'll talk about that later on. So let's go ahead and save that, refresh, so it stretches 100% of the screen, and the height is 350, and then we'll put it a little bit bigger, 550, and voila. So now you got your YouTube video in there. Like I said, there's more CSS like margins, or you can put margin left, so it's going to shift everything, say 30 pixels, and then yeah, let's do it like that, save it real fast. And that's more to center it. As you can see, we added space right there. Now we just got to change the width to about, let's say, 90%. And now it's more, you can measure it as you want. But that's styling. But like I said, we'll talk about that more in CSS. But if you want to do a quick Google search about styling, you could. But we will talk about that later on. So that's what it is, how to get your YouTube videos on your page. And now you can jump in to where your image is right there and do the same thing. So I'm going to just go ahead and copy this and see how this looks if I put it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete that and then paste this. And then I'm going to delete the style because I don't want any of the style. I just want it kind of default. So I'm going to save that and see how this looks. Alright, so now we can do the same thing with the style and measure it accordingly. But that's how you will want to do it depending on where you want to do it. And the same thing goes for the top part in your main image. So your very first image, you can put a video right here also. But it's up to you. But that is how you embed videos in your website. Now YouTube is probably the best bet. Just makes it easier, But and also for storage wise, so if you store videos in your own folder, it's going to take up storage from your web hosting. So this is probably the best way because it doesn't take any of the storage. It just pulls it straight from YouTube. So now that we discussed it, videos, let's talk about forms and your subscribe button. So this is going to be for this one and your contact page. And it's going to be a quick, short video, so don't get too caught up in it. But forms are important if you want people to contact you or to subscribe to your website. Alright, let's talk about contact forms. And of course, contact forms are simply for your audience to get a hold of you. and also for you to build up your email list. Now, if you don't know what an email list is, it is simply that, a storage of all the people that ever contacted you on your email list. And what you use with that is to send them newsletters or to keep them up to date about your blog. So, in order to make a contact form, you would have to know some language called PHP, some other one called MySQL, and you have to know about databases. Now, in order to do that, it takes a long time actually, and when you do have a database, you have to worry about security and things like that. But our good friends somewhere around the world already made companies that have contact forms for free, and they deal with all the security and things like that. So simply just go to their website, make an account, and you can get started with your own contact forms. So there's ones I found. One I used before was 123 contact form. Like I said, just go in there, just check out their features, browse their site, and if you like it, just sign up. It's free, and they also got a paid version. Now, I used to use this a couple of years ago, but it was more for just kind of practice fun. When I make websites, I would just paste this in there just in case somebody did come across it and happen to fill out the form. It will still work in the same fashion. So I used that for a couple of years. The one I use now is called MailChimp, and it's the same thing. It's nice and free. They got a paid version. You can go ahead and browse around and see if you like this better than 123 contact form. And there are a lot of other ones also, but it seems these two are pretty solid, and pretty well known also. So pick which one you want, sign up, fill in the information, get your login, your username, and your password, and go ahead and log in. So while you do that, I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video, and you should pause it too so you can fill out the forms and stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna pause the video and I'm gonna log in and show you a little bit more. Now I'm gonna log into my MailChimp, not my 123 contact form one. So yeah, I'm gonna pause the video, log in, and show you a little bit more about how to get the forms and how to get the code. Okay, so here I am logged into my MailChimp account. Now I'm at the dashboard, and I think you should be here too. So this is where you are going to create your forms and lists. Now I already got 2 lists already made. So let's just go to start building your audience. So if you sign up forms, well, you should be able to, it's going to start off from scratch really, and then you're going to make a list, and you call it your blog subscribers if you want. And then when you go right there, after you're done with that, you will go to this place. Now you can embed your forms to site of blogging. You just read it, build, design, translate forms, things like that. So mainly these 2 are what you're gonna deal with. So you can go through them and see what fits for you. So you can use this type of style, but I think the other one is a lot easier. So we just do embed forms. So you select that one. So now here you got your form. So if you want to like style it and do things like that, you would have to know CSS, which I will talk about later on. But for the most part, this is what your form will be. So you can change this to get in touch, things like that, to whatever you want. It'll change that. You can change the length of these things, but for the most part, that's where you'll get your form. So you form width right here, you can put it as much as you want. I just want to talk about this code in this area right here. So I'm going to go ahead and open my contact form, which I don't have open yet. So I'm going to go contact form, open it in my Sublime Text. Now, if you go to your contact page, you will see, alright, well, I have to look for get in touch and an image around there, alright? So that's fine. You want me to scroll down? Scroll down. Alright, bring you some good information so I know where I'm at. Categories. Alright. So here we are, the middle container. So now we got our contact form. So I got a div contact module. So anything in this block is going to be referring to my contact. Alright. So now that we got that, let's go back to MailChimp. And now, so this is going to be the top part. So go right here to this style. Well, I don't know why they don't just let you just kind of copy and paste just this. Oh yes, they do now. Finally. Before it was like if I try to copy only this piece, it will select everything. So I'm gonna just copy and paste that for the style, and everything above that. So you're gonna have to add this between your head tags, which is all right here. So where this head ends, you can tell where that dash or forward slash, simply paste that right there. And as you can see, there's a little bit of their CSS, and this is my CSS, but in that same thing, it's still the same. Got your link, and it points to this type of style. So you can literally copy this into your web browser, and it might show up. So this is the code and the style, but let's not worry about that too much. All we want is to simply paste it in there. So now I got that in there. I'm gonna go back to MailChimp, scroll down a little bit, and now all this from this div ID MailChimp embedded signup. So we're just gonna grab all that. Go right there and simply copy it. And simply paste it right under this get in touch, because that is my title. So you can see right here, MailChimp embedded signup. So I'm gonna go grab that and just basically delete all that until here. Paste all that in there. Now, since we don't need this script right here, well we do, but it's not supposed to be in here. So I want you to go ahead and grab that script, copy that, and now delete it. And that script you can put all the way at the bottom right before this close body tag. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, and hopefully that will work. Refresh. Alright, taking a little bit longer, but that's fine unless I did something wrong in the code. Everything looks good. Yeah, I think it's taking forever. Alright, so it did change up. Well, the reason it took forever is because if I was in my web hosting, then it will find it a lot more faster because it's already like online. So since I'm in my own server on my own desktop or laptop, it just kind of got to go out, you know, and go find the server. But once you're online, it'll work a whole lot smoother. But as you can see, this is the form, and it's completely different than mine. So that's simply what you got to do. Just get your form and all this information. So basically this div, anything you see the script right here, that all goes at the bottom where I just showed you. And this div is your form all the way until right there. So just keep that in mind. There's three pieces. This top part is for that goes in between your head tags, which is this, all the way to this piece right there. So anything between that is for web browser. Alright. Next is your actual form with the lines, which is all right there. Well, not this script part, but when it's styled where this form is and this div, anything after that div is not in the form. So basically that piece all the way to here is where your form is going to be, which we just talked about right now. So I just deleted my old form and pasted in that new one. And now that bottom piece, the source, is some other stuff, well, JavaScript right here. but that's for, it kind of helps the browser point to their account or your account, or it goes to MailChimp, says, all right, I have this account and it belongs to this person, and I want to be able to get the information that's used in the form and be able to be sent to your MailChimp accounts. So that's what this kind of script, all this stuff. So this script, as we mentioned, goes all the way at the bottom, all right here. So it's a 3-piece part, just keep that in mind. And yeah, now you got your form. Simple as that. So keep it, keep that in mind. And it also is going to go for your contact form. When we go to your single blog, and same thing with your subscribe box right here. The same exact thing. You just simply find it, which is in your right column. So you just simply go, all right, I'm in my right column. Scroll down until you see your form or subscribe. All right, here we are, subscribe, and right here will be your form. So you simply delete this all the way to this form, and then paste in the code right there. So let me see what will happen if, I really don't want to. Let me just keep this way. So the same thing goes. You're gonna add in this form, same thing, same pieces, same 3-piece. You got your top piece, which is everything right there, and then right below the style is your div, MailChimp embedded sign up, and you scroll all the way down to that end, copy that, and that's where you're gonna paste that into your subscribe box. And the same thing goes with this script right here, is gonna be pasted at the bottom. So no matter what page you're on, if you have a subscribe box, it's still gonna be in those three orders right there. One at the top, the one in the middle goes right here wherever you want it, and then the script goes all the way at the bottom. And as you can see in the contact form, it doesn't show up. If it loads, come on, load for your boy. But anywho, the script does not show up. It's all for the web browser. So just keep that in mind when you're adding in your contact forms. Well, I guess it's not loading too good for me, but hopefully that all makes sense. Remember that. And as you can see, there is nothing called scripts or anything. So keep an eye on this form right here, and I'm going to revert everything back to normal, so you can see the difference. Save it. Alright, so you can see how mine is different than theirs, but in the same fashion it will work, because the only thing I did was use style to make it look different. So there you go. That is your contact forms. Now as far as that goes, that's probably the best thing you can do. And there's a way to add an email link like this. So this will be a link, and they'll click it, and then it will open their email, like Outlook, on their desktop. But I don't like to use that, because most people don't use their desktop emails. So they usually sign into their Google account, or Gmail, or maybe Yahoo, the Ymail. So they'll usually use it in that form. So most likely they'll use a contact form. They'll put their email right here, the name, last name, and whatever they want right here, and subscribe button. They just click that, and voila, all the information is sent to you. So now that we talked about that, let's talk about some CSS and styling. And we are going to style mainly the single blog page. We'll go through that, and then I might mention a little bit more after that, but we will talk about styling your page. Alright, let's talk a little about CSS. Now CSS is what you use to style your HTML tags. So let's open your code, and we are in our double column blog page. Now if you scroll down a little bit, you will see this link rel. Zoom in a little bit. This line right here. And this is where you will locate your CSS. Now there's a couple of ways to do it. There's this one, which is external, which means your style is outside of the page, and you use this title tag right here and all this extra stuff to point to it. So if you go into your CSS folder, you will see you have a couple. Got your about one, your contact, and double column block style, which is this right here. Now if I go ahead and let's say make a mistake, see how that goes, refresh. Now as you can see, your page is not styled, and this is basically like if you search the first web page, you will notice that this is how it was. It was just simply just like a book on a web page with hyperlinks or your A tags that we talked about. So that would happen before they started to add this styling in. So let's go ahead and fix that, save it, go hit refresh, and now we're back to how you want it. So CSS is just styling. That's what it is. So there's this way, external. And there is another way, it's called internal or inline. So I'm gonna put a style right here, and in these quotes I'm gonna put with let's say 80%, the height 310, 310 pixels. And there's other ones which we will try to talk about more, but these are some of your main ones. So we'll save them and see what happens. As you can see, my height is 310 and my width is only 80%. So that literally overrides it when you do it this way. See, so everything's kind of back to the same, but my height is 310 pixels. So I put in 7, to which I have it in the original form. Now you can see there's that way. So this way is called inline, but this will override anything right here. So this is how I started. So I will start it off like this and style everything I need to style, and then I will simply copy and paste it into a new file, which I will call it .css, and whatever you want to call it right here, but it has to be saved as .css. So that's how my technique is. So I'll write that code out, copy it, open a new file, and just go ahead and open my CSS file. So simply open the file, paste it in there and delete all this stuff, because you only need this part and whatever you wanted. So if I talked about, well, right here, that's our top container that we were in right there. So since I already have my top container right there, I can change this to, let's do that 310 pixels, save it, and now it should work. And save that, refresh. So now I'm at 310, and that's how it works. So you look for your HTML tag, and then you simply find it right here. So since that is a top container, and everything in that container is all right there. So if we basically that's how it works. And now if you look over, you got a border, and now this background image is actually this image right here. So when you want to put your photo in there, you simply go right there and add it in between these quotes. Come on now, stay with me. Basically in between these quotes right here. Now it looks a little different. I don't know why it's messing around like that. Zoom out a little bit. Now, when I talk about the images, that's how it was. But when you're working on your laptop, before you upload it to your web hosting through your FTP, you would have to use the full address. And reason for that is because it just basically trying to locate your file. So if I go ahead and delete that, save it, refresh, now my image is gone. And like I said, it's just working in different environments. That's why you just need the whole address. Now I got my image in there. So I go to my images, the picture's right there. But well, when you mess around like this in your own environment, you would have to use the whole code. And it's basically the address. So if you look up right here on this top part, it's in that same fashion. So whenever you feel lost or your images don't work, just go ahead and locate it all the way up until you find your folder. So mine is on my desktop, and in my folder I have my double column blob. And the same thing goes, like I said, for the images. If you feel lost or things ain't working, just go ahead and just use that full code right there. It should be good. But once you upload it to your web hosting, it should work like this. So first try it like this, and if your picture doesn't work, just add a slash and that should do the trick. Because it's kind of jumping out of a folder in that sense. So that's what you will get for your background image. We'll go ahead and save that, put everything back to normal. So as we talked about, when you see this hash top container, is basically saying the ID, this top container, and everything in this top container, which will be your social links. And if you scroll down a little bit more, you got your logo placed right here. Then you got that text right at the bottom. And now you got your home, about. So basically anything in between is in your top container. Now if you scroll down a little bit more, you got your category spot. And your ID says, well, this is top nav module. So if I want to change the background color of that, I simply go ahead and find it. And now everything is kind of, I put little labels like this so you can find it much easier. But now I'm right here, and it's more or less in the same order. Top nav module. Alright, so the background color is black. I'll just put it to red. Save it. Refresh. Alright, now we got it to red. Now you can go ahead and change it to whatever color you want. I'm gonna just leave it as black. And like the same thing goes, everything else is the same thing. So when you want to change something in your paragraph or even this image size, that's all you got to look for. So let's say this goes to that actually. I got my title, date, boom, boom. All right, my main image is right here, but I want to change the right image. So class is the same thing as the ID, but instead of a hash, it was just a period. So class image paragraph right. I'm gonna go ahead and look for that. Right column, articles, okay, getting closer. Main image paragraph, paragraph image. Alright, so now we got the ID of the place I want to be at, which is a paragraph module, which is this part right here. Now it's saying anything in there is what I want to change, but I only want to change my image right. So it's 50%, and the height is auto. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's just put that to 30. Save that, see how it looks. So it's the right one right here. Now it's smaller. So that's how you will go ahead and change it up. Now you can go ahead and mess around with this with CSS, but like if you were to start from scratch, it'll be much easier because there's a lot more. Like if you can see this margin. Now margin is the stuff like the padding on it. It pushes everything from the right or left. So I do that. Now as you can see, there's no space right here as it is right here. So that's what margin does. But like I said, I don't want to get too deep in this CSS because there's a lot of different ones. But I just want to show you kind of like some basics. Alright, so let's go ahead and type in body. So the whole body, I want the background color to be a certain color. Alright, I'm sorry about that. The body, and then those curly braces next to your P letter. So I'm gonna go ahead and type background color. And I just put it green. Let's see how that looks. So I'm gonna save it, refresh. Alright, nothing happened. Anything going wrong, body? That should be good. Save it. Alright. See, refresh. Okay, I think I know why. So, usually stuff like that is because I have it mobile. So I'm going to go right here, see if this might work. Because as you can see, at media, mid width, 920 pixels, max, so it's saying in between 920 pixels and 1119 pixels is a certain style. So maybe this will work. No, I don't know what's going on right here. Try the next one. But that's how you add in different stuff. I do not know what's wrong right here. Let's try. Yeah, I got my bowling background color. Try this HTML. Save this. Alright. So those are not working for some reason, but that's fine. Another way, if we go, so since that didn't work, sorry about that. Let's go and talk about the inline. So that body, I wanted to style it with the background color green. So this should work since it's more or less forcing it. So let's see what happens. Alright, so now you see that it does work. Now the same thing goes with these paragraphs right here. So I'm going to try to go back into my CSS sheet. Go and find the paragraph. Article container. Let's try this out. So background color. So I'm going to have to put it white. Save it. See what this does. Alright, so as you can see, it does work. Sometimes, like I said, if it doesn't work, it's probably because I'm in a different part of the file or something. Just random stuff, you know. So I'm going to go to the right container, which is right here. And do the same thing. And just copy and paste and add that in. Save it. Well, there you go. Now that works also. Now, of course, the footer, more or less at the bottom. Right here. Go ahead and paste that. Oh, I got the right one. Oh yeah, I went down too far. Okay, here we go. Save that. Now we're good. So things like that, you can do it that way. Also, for your body, you can actually put a, I'm going to just use the same background image. Or actually, I'm going to use a different one, but I'm going to just go ahead and copy and paste background image URL all the way to I get this background size. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy that, paste it in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and find another photo. So let me just use this top image. So just go ahead and copy the name. Make sure I got the right extension, which is JPEG. I'll just go ahead and just prop that in there. And it was .jpeg. Save it. Now we got our background image. So you can do that, use the color, whatever you like. But for the most part, that is CSS. So you can change your color, add a little margin to the side of things. And yeah, how to locate it, just remember, just look for it. And just go and find it in there, and you'll be good. Alright, so let's talk about metadata. Now metadata is all for web browsers. As you can see, you don't see any of that information in your web page. This is all for the browser. So you can see we got a couple of lines of code right here. But first I want to talk about these two right here, just to get these over with. Now this one right here, these title tags, is simply all right here in the top of your web browser, in the tabs right here. So if I go ahead and change that up to, let's say, security page, save it, and as you can see at the top right here, when I refresh, it changes that right there. So you can go ahead and change that to whatever your blog is talking about. And the same thing goes for your home page also. Now if we look right here, this is the image that's right next to security page. I'm not going to go ahead and I'm not going to change that image, but the same thing goes. Link rel, shortcut icon, this stuff you do need. It tells the browser like this is what it's for. And it's basically, this is the important piece right here. Is your link, and of course the same thing goes as all images. You place your image in your image folder, and then you simply type in your picture you want to use. And now you have to have it saved as .ico. It can be .jpeg. Try that. Unless they've changed it up without me knowing, it shouldn't work. Oh, so it does work. Cool. But in convention, you have to have it as ICO. But now you know you can change it to whatever, so I guess that's cool. And don't worry, every other day they're always doing something to web browsers to make things like this more easier. So like for instance is ICO. Before it was only ICO, you couldn't use a JPEG, and I tried plenty of times, but now as you see, you can use it, so that's fine. We'll go ahead and refresh that, and you can see it does work. Alright, so enough about that. We talked about those, we just talked about styling, so let's just jump back up to just these few tags right here. So after you write your blog, things like that, you're gonna want to come up here and change your keywords. So your keywords to find your website. Your website. Sorry about that. So if you start at the beginning, meta, the name, telling the browser, all right, these are going to be keywords, and then the content, of course, is your keywords. So this blog, let's say what were we talking about? Home security. So you can put technology, home security, safe home, anything that relates to that. So think of it as in Google, when you type in keywords in Google, of course certain web pages pop up, and this is how Google finds them. So that's how it works. So you can keep on going with that, but it goes for anything you want to write. So say you want to write a blog about Kobe Bryant. So first you're going to put, Kobe Bryant, Lakers. You can put number 8. You could probably put Phil Jackson if you want, but not necessarily relating to Kobe Bryant, but it is part of the Lakers, so it just encompasses all the Lakers stuff and stats and things like that. So yeah, if your main thing is only about Kobe Bryant, then you can go ahead and put that and fill in as much information about Kobe right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back to regular. So just keep that in mind, your keywords, and this is going to be after you write your blog. So therefore, you don't, let's say you want to write a blog about, Kobe Bryant, but then you start writing, it ends up becoming about like LeBron James or something. So just write your blog first, then you come up here and simply just put in your keywords. Hopefully that sounds easy. Now let's move on to the next. Same thing, meta name, description, content, and I just put more information about the site. Now this part you're just gonna basically put like a sentence or two. It's not gonna be keywords. It's gonna be a sentence or two. So if you're talking about Kobe Bryant, you can just put Kobe Bryant from Los Angeles Lakers and things like that. So it's simply same thing goes. Instead of just words separated by commas, it's just gonna be like a short sentence or two. So if we move down to the next, now you got your meta name, author. Of course, telling the browser this is the author of the page. The content is your name, so you are the author. Just go ahead and fill in your name right there. Next, refreshes your browser. Now this stuff I don't use, I just put it in there because I just wanted it to get it out the way, so I don't have to keep on retyping stuff and things like that. And the content, so if I want to refresh the page every 30 seconds, you can put that, or every 60 seconds, and so on and so forth. Like I just don't refresh it. I just leave it the way it is. But you can refresh it if you want. Go ahead. Next, we are helps the browser mobilize the web page. So meta name, viewport. So basically saying browser, what size is this? And then the content, the width equals device and width, let's say. An initial scale 1.0. Now this stuff is all for mobile devices. Like I'm not too sure exactly like what it means in like terms of definitions, but it does help your page become mobile friendly. So just keep that around. Now next, meta content, text HTML, character set, UTF-8, HTTP equivalent, content type. So all this is, of course, browser, like I said, but there's different character sets, but the main one is this. But like say if you're in a a different country, they'll have a different character set. But just keep that around, you should be good. Alright, and that is your metadata. But see, the most important ones are probably just these top three. Mainly the top two, but if you want to put your name right here, you can. But these top twos are very important. So after you write your blog, you come up here, you fill in your keywords, and then you should be good. That way Google has a better chance of finding you. Now there's more meta tags like this. And if you want to learn more about them, you can go to this w3schools.com, and basically this is what you can see right here. It has all the stuff that we kind of went through, but not in much details. But if you want to learn more about it, just go and it's these two right here, HTML and CSS. So after that, you should be good. They talk about meta tags and things like that, but it's not an instructional video. It just simply says this is this and this is what it does, So whenever you feel like you want to learn more about it, just go ahead and go to W3 Schools. So now that we got that out the way and everything seems good, we talked about your images and where to locate them, your menus, and how to link them using those A tags. And also for your social buttons, when you go to your Facebook profile, you simply copy the address and add it into your anchor tag. So we talked about that. We talked about this background images, also this background image for the body, categories, how to change the color, how to change font size a little bit, how to add in your videos, and so on and so forth. All this stuff is more or less the same. And the same thing goes with your about page, more or less all the same. Got your images, things like that, how to change colors, and how to locate a specific box and things like that. And your contact goes for the same, how to locate stuff and things like that. Now as far as the form goes, we will talk about that shortly, but you don't have to worry too much about that. I think just better just place your email right here and they can just email you like that. Alright, so now that we talked about majority of the stuff, let's go ahead and talk about the workflow. Alright, let's talk about advertising on your website or promoting other people's product. So the one I use is Purefly. You just simply sign up You can go ahead and browse around, see what's the deal, but this is a good one. And basically you are promoting the products that they sell, and you see right here, popular brands we promote. So it looks like they got Target in there, you know, trustworthy companies. So go ahead and sign up in there, and I will see you on the other side. Alright, so hopefully you signed up with them, and you are at this page right here, which is your dashboard right here. So you see, scroll down a little bit, they got some offers, latest offers, highest converting offers, things like that. So you can click whatever one you want and start to promote. But to really find them all, you just click offers, browse offers, and it's going to show you a list of all their products. And maybe there's some on here that you might not see, but you can just literally find it by typing it in. But if you keep scrolling, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of them that you can promote. And if you click this pay right here, it switches from highest first to lowest, and this earnings per click right here. So if people click, they get this. And conversion rate, so that means the highest conversion, which means the more people usually go for, is this one right here. So depending on what you want, then that's what you're going to do. And let's say you're just kind of curious on what they have. So let's just put Coca-Cola. Alright, so we have this. Year supply of Coca-Cola. Sounds good because I am thirsty right now. Alright, so you scroll down right here. On any of your products that you click, you'll see something like this. So this is your link that you will use. So keep that in mind. Those anchor tags we talked about and links, this is what you're going to copy and paste in between those quotes, which I'll show you in a bit. Let's say you don't want to use that link. You want to use something like banners. So you got a bunch of banners right here. So you can just go ahead and let's say I want to use that one. You click that and you simply copy all that and then paste it in your website box. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the link first right here. So I'm going to just highlight that. And now I'm going to copy that. Now I'm going to go to my page. So I'm going to put them right there. So the first one is advertisement title goes here. So I'm going to open my box and find it right here. So we're at the right column container. I have recent posts. Article goes here. No, we want the ad space. So Instagram. Alright, so here we are. Advertising. So now the title goes here. So first we need to actually add in the anchor tags. And go ahead, paste in our code. It looks a little funky right there. And then we'll put your supply of Coca-Cola. Alright. Close that off. So I'm going to hit save. Go back and let's see what happens. Alright, as you can see it turned blue, so now it is a link. So with that you can do it like that. Now as far as the image goes, you can download literally this image or something, or copy and paste this image. Maybe you can. See this, open image in new tab. Alright, so we can. So instead, I'm going to just go ahead and copy it from the address bar up top and simply paste it in where the image is. So I'm going to go right here, image source, in between the quotes, paste that, save it. Now it should work. Alright, there we go. So now we got our photo right there. And the same thing goes for this one also. Now if you, like I said, want to download it, you can. But if you don't, and let's say you don't want to use this like that, say you want to use one of these boxes. So let's go to box 2. And then simply we can just use one of these. Let's see, this one looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead, select all, copy it, jump to my box 2, which will be right here, and I'm gonna just go ahead and delete that. Actually, let me just put it right under. So I'm gonna go ahead, paste that in there, save it, go back to my page, hit refresh, and alright, now we got our ad space right there. So there's different ways of doing it, as you can see. You can do it this way. This one looks a little bit cooler, you know, a little bit more modern, let's say. But like I said, as far as a photo goes, you can download it. And how I did that was just right click and open image in new tab, which I already did. And as you can see, it opened it up right here. If you go right there, this is the address. So you're going to simply copy that address and then simply paste it to where you want. So we're in the advertisement, and that's exactly what I did. Got the source, and I simply put it in between the quotes. So that's how you can do it, or you can simply download it, and it can be like that. So hopefully you signed up with Peerfly, and this video made enough sense so you can go ahead and start promoting products on your website and hopefully get paid. Alrighty then. Now let's go ahead and add a Instagram widget to your website to showcase your photos. So I'm simply going to open a new page, go to Google, and just put Instagram widgets to websites, or for website, whatever you prefer. But more or less, you're going to find these ones. So you can choose whatever feels comfortable for you. I use this one called Websta. Now this one is nice and free, and they also have a paid version for it. So I'm going to pause the video, and as I log into my account, you can go ahead and sign up for your own accounts. So here we are in my account, and if you are in your account, great. So as you can see, I have 2 of them already made, and if you look right here, total widgets is 2 of 2. So that means I only can create 2 of them, but if I pay for it, I can create more. But more or less, you're probably just going to need these 2, or just 2 maybe, because you can either have it show multiple photos or just, you know, one single photo. So I'm going to go ahead and go to edit and edit this out. Now like I said, you should be, there's a button somewhere where you can just create it. Now first off, right here, you're gonna put in your Instagram username. So shouldn't be too hard. Next is the widget name. So as you saw, I have my 2, and that's what I call this widget, is Instapics. And you can put it to whatever you want. Next will be your domain. So I put my domain, and your domain, whatever you got, you just type that in right there. Now the layout, as you can see, I have a showcase of 5 photos. So this will be the columns. So if I want 1 column and 1 row, I can do that. Or if I want 1 column, 2 rows, then that's fine like that. So I'm going to just go ahead and stick with just the 1. Now as far as thumb size, you can adjust it to however big you want it to be. And now photo space, since I only have 1, that is just the space in between. So I'm going to go ahead and put 4. And as you can see, tiny bit, make it a little bigger, 19. So you see the space in between here. So I'm just go ahead and put it back to 0 and put this back to 1. And more or less responsive, it just goes according to whatever is the box around it and the size of the website. So if you put in responsive, it will just stretch out from this line to this line. But I'm gonna just keep that as regular like that. Now border, you can put a border around it. And as you can see, it's a little tad bit. I'm gonna go ahead and keep that off. Now background color, you pick whatever. I'm just leave it transparent. Alright, a little bit more. So the paid plan can link post to Instagram.com. So that's fine. Now fade out effect, fade in. Just when they hover over, it just highlights it. Now share buttons, as you can see when you hover, they got the Facebook and Twitter right there. So you can just click that off if you don't want that, and simply have it like that. But I'm just leave that on. Now here is your code, and remember to always save changes. So if I have this at 230 and I'm like, oh, it's too big, and I change it up to 140, I'm gonna click save, and it's gonna change the code right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just copy that to clipboard, and basically now we go to our code and we simply find it. And if you get lost, just remember, just look for the title, Instagram pics, and right below it will be where you're gonna put your code, or at least where the photo is right there. So now we can just scroll past this. Since we know a little bit more of our code, we know we need to pass the paragraph and go to the right column container. Alright, so here we are, right column container. And we just keep scrolling down. Alright, here we are, Instagram pics. So I'm gonna go ahead and just simply delete this and paste in the code. I'm gonna have to refresh. Now since I'm on my local server, which is well, I'm hooked up online, but when you're in your web hosting account, this would render much faster. And since they wanted you to add in your web your domain name, just makes it easier. So for this one, it probably wouldn't work because obviously this is not the domain, and you can see it shows it, but it's just broken. But once you have it in your real website, and when you're up to your web hosting account, it will work. So don't worry too much right now that it's not showing up. But as you can see, it is there, and you can change the width of this with the CSS also. So now we talked about getting it in there, and like I said, you can change it up to whatever you want. But since that space is pretty small, then you just want one right there. So that's fine. So next, let's talk about adding in Twitter and Facebook to maybe one of these. Okay, cool. Alright, now let's talk about adding in a Twitter widget to show your live feed. So you simply go to Twitter, and you just put Twitter widgets. So the first one, widgets Twitter. So that means you gotta go ahead and log in. So I'm gonna pause the video, log in, and you should do the same. Okay, so hopefully you're logged in, and if you are at your profile page, so you just simply go to settings, which would be right here, profile and settings. And when you're here, you scroll down a little bit, and you'll find this widget button. Simply click it. Now if you don't have one, you'll just see something like this, create new. So there's different ones, profile, links, but I'm gonna go ahead and just edit this one. So as it goes, you put in your username right here, and now your height, you can put it to whatever you want, depending on what grid or what box you might be using. So it might just stretch way past it, but we'll discuss that later. Now the theme is light and dark. You have a dark one or a light one. Now link color default is blue. You can change it to whatever you like. And it's simple as that. So you're gonna save your changes, and now your code will be right here. So you simply copy it, then you're gonna want to paste it to whichever box you want. So I'm gonna just go for box 1 and see how that turns out. So same thing goes, just keep scrolling until you see box 1. Alright, here we are, box 1. Now I'm gonna go ahead right below that, and I can change up that title later on. So we'll save that, refresh. Alright, so you can see, box 1, it pushed everything down, or way past box 2, you can see right here next to it. So what you want to do is just kind of change the height. I guess it's 250, that's fine. So once you save it, it's going to change up the code again. So I'm going to copy that and see if this works. Paste it, save, go back, hit refresh. Alright, so it probably automatically switches up to that. But as simple as that, you're just going to find the box and go ahead and do that. I'm going to try something real fast. If you don't mind, I want to change up the right container. I'm going to go and find that one. So it was called ID extra box 1. Go ahead and should be around here somewhere. Alright, extra box 1. See, auto. So it should just kind of at least have the box number 2. So let me try this out. Okay, that's perfect. So yeah, if yours was the same, just go ahead to your CSS file, find this extra box 1, and just put overflow hidden. And like stuff like this, yeah, like I said, it's easier just to do it when you learn your CSS, because stuff like this I learned way after. But just when you run into mistakes like that, or it's not really a mistake, it just, it just had to change things up a little bit. So you can leave it like that, and that's how you add in your Twitter widgets. Alright, let's talk about adding in a Facebook widget. Now there's different ones. Just go ahead and type in Facebook widgets or social plugins, if that's what you want to call them. Alright, so go ahead and just click on that first one. So they show you all different ones. You can put a comment feed, embedded comments, embedded post. Now since we already have our Twitter right here, let's say that is our main post, but you just want to put a follow button, something like this. Now to do this, you have to make a page for your on your Facebook. So for example, you should be already logged in. So I click my profile. So usually it should work where you just copy and paste that right here, but it doesn't work for, see how it disappears? That means it doesn't work. You will need a page. So I think it goes for everything else as far as the like buttons and things like that. So the URL, let's try it out. Go ahead, all copy. Do this good stuff, paste it in, and see what happens. As you can see, it doesn't work. So you will need to create a page. So I already got my page made. So if you click right here, you see your pages. And if you don't have one, then that's fine. You can just create it. But that's what you're going to use to be able to do that. So I'm just go ahead and copy that last extension. And you see I got one made right here. Let's say I want the follow buttons. So I'm going to simply erase this Zuck. I think that's Zuckerberg's. So I'm going to click it. So now I have one right there. So go ahead and create your page. And then simply just paste it at the end of the .com right there, right after it. And you should be good. So now I'm going to get the code. Now there's two ways of doing it. This way, if you use this, you can just read it, include this JavaScript SKD, which is this code, on your page once. Ideally, right after the opening body. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. So right after the opening body tag. So you scroll up to the top and right here, right at the beginning, paste that in, and you go back, and now the bottom piece is to where you want to place your code. Place this code wherever you want the plugin to appear on your page. So I want it to appear in box 2. So I'm going to scroll back down, go find that box. Here we are at box 2. Paste in the code, let's save it. And hit refresh. Alright, I don't seem to see anything. Now this always happens to me sometimes when I do use this Facebook one. I don't know if there's something wrong with the code, but as you can see, it is not appearing on there. But that's fine though. But that's how you work that way. So if it doesn't work, that's fine. But like I said, those 2 pieces of code are what you're gonna need. So I'm gonna go ahead and just delete those again. So now the other way is to use this iframe, which is probably the easiest way. So just copy that, and this simply goes, you just put it wherever you want it. So I want it in box 2. Scroll down and find my box. Alright, here we are. Paste that, save it. I can go back, hit refresh, see what happens. Alright, so there you go. So now I click this and I'll be able to follow myself. So like I said, if the other way didn't work, this JavaScript SDK, then just go ahead and use the iframe like I just showed you. It does work this way also. So go ahead and create your page. Go ahead and plug it in after, and then get your code and use the iframe. Alright, so this is the workflow video. Now I went ahead and added some more advertisement right there. You know, Twitter box. We talked about the Facebook widgets, and I just added another ad right there, right below the Facebook. And the reason for that is this workflow video is going to just talk about paragraphs, and we already talked about basically everything as far as images goes, and how to link them and things like that. But as far as the workflow go, that's what I want to talk about. So I made a workflow video for a single column blog, and it's basically will be none of this. So it's just going to be this and talk about everything, and basically start off from your home page, and then when you write your article and how to save it to your home page and everything else. So it basically shows you that once you write your article, how to link it up to your home page, which will be here. So your first article would be right here, and when they click it, of course, it's going to go to this page right here. And as far as that goes, as far as at least advertisement goes, so if you do write a page talking about Coca-Cola, then you know it's perfectly ad space right there. Or if you're talking about LifeLock and internet protection, or you know, internet theft, identity theft, then that's perfect ad space for that. So just keep that in mind, but you can promote anything. It doesn't really have to pertain to what you are writing about. So that is the video you're going to watch. It's going to just have a single column, but it's going to detail all this and how to work this workflow. Alright, so have fun with that, and make sure you watch the video and pause it if you need to. But alright, so go ahead and enjoy the workflow video. Alright, so this is the workflow video. Now, depending on how much you want to write, which you can write a blog every day or once a week, hell, once a month. It's all up to you, but this is the workflow. So I went ahead and stripped all the colors and made it back to normal, as you can see. So now let's jump to your home page. Alright, so here we are. You got your main image right here. You got your category boxes, let's say, your story boxes. And now we go to the bottom, they got a subscribe newsletter, which I will talk about after we get down to business. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to your folder. Now I have one ready with extra templates, so you can go ahead and just basically just copy your single blog into here. So therefore you have your your page is ready to go. So therefore you don't have to really do too much changing them. So you want to open your index in your text editor. I already have mine open. So let's go ahead and jump on this. So we talked about all this meta stuff. Again, talked about the title, talked about the image, and we talked about CSS, which is our styling. And this is one way of styling it also. But the same thing goes as the other one. You simply find the name of your tag and then just go ahead and change whatever you like to change about it. So I'm going to scroll past all this, and as you can see, there's a lot of code in here. This is all for styling and a mobile also. So let's just keep scrolling down. Now we are at your menu right here, which is the green button on top. So if you hover over, you got your home, about, and contact. Now the reason we have two of them is one's for mobile, as I put right here, and the other one is for full-on desktop, as we showed you right now. So you scroll down, we got your categories, which will be located right at the bottom. And if you see it, you scroll, it still stays fixed. Now maybe on yours it might be shifted up depending on how big your desktop is and your screen, but just using the CSS, you can be able to move that around and push it down or up. But if it's right there at the bottom as it is on mine, then you are good. So we're gonna go ahead and scroll down. We talked about images. Scroll a little bit more, and now here we are. So we are in the square. So this is basically where you're gonna put your stories at after you write it. So for starters, I'm gonna go ahead and use those comment tags. Explanation. So I'm gonna comment this out so I only have one box to show. And then right after the last one, dash dash, greater than. So save it. Let's see where we are. Alright, so now we got our one box. So basically you can get a good picture right when they come. They're gonna see this, your article or whatever you like to write right here. They're gonna click it and then get sent to the full article. So this is going to be a quick demonstration. So what I want to do, let's say I want to find a story about technology. Alright, let's see. Let's go Tech News CNN. And like I said, you're probably going to want to write your own, but if you just feel like you need to copy and paste, stories, and as you can see, they have it in the same fashion. So I click on one. And what's a good story? I guess we'll put this, addicted to smartphones. Here's why. So basically, like I said, you will most likely type your own. I'm gonna just go ahead and just copy and paste. So I'm gonna just grab a nice chunk. If this page will let me load. Alright, yeah, I guess we can just grab this piece right here. We'll go ahead and copy that. Now, since I have my one regular page open, I'm going to go ahead and go to my extra templates and just grab one and just change the name to, what was that title again? Smartphone addiction. So I'll just put that. That's fine. So you go ahead, get your page you want to use. You right click, go down to rename, and smartphone addiction. Just put that. Oops, too many D's in there. Now, when you first say you're in your text editor and you just put file new. Obviously it's going to be blank, but you can do it this way too and just go ahead and copy and paste all this into your new one and then save it as what you want to save it as. But when you save as, you want to make sure you add the extension. So if I put phone addiction. Now you have to save it as .html, and that's going to tell the browser that this is a web page. So if you check right here at the bottom, if you scroll a little bit, you'll see that there is a automatic extension adder, let's say. So you don't have to put .html. You can just simply call it like that, and then this will pop up. As you can see, .html, this will add it on automatically. But for the most part, sometimes it might automatically pop up right there. But since mine doesn't have it right here, and it's in all files, then you're gonna put .html. So I'm not gonna save this. I'm just go ahead. I just wanted to show you that there's different ways. So since I have a file already made that is a HTML file, I don't have to add on the .html as an extension. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag that to my single blog right here. I'm gonna go ahead and open that. Now I'm gonna just scroll to the paragraph and go ahead and do that. So remember, just delete everything in between the p tags, and then just go ahead and paste your story. Next, we can jump in with the images. So there's two ways of doing it. This one don't have a image, but we can just put that in Google, paste it. And a lot of images you can use for free. Some have like licensing fees and things like that, copyrights and all this stuff. So you can you can click this one. Let's say open it in a new tab right here. So there you go. So now there's two ways of doing it. You can download it, download your image from Google. Simply, put it in your image folder, and then just call it, just like we have right here, and just place it right there. Another way you can do it is just using this address. So it might be long, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy that, and now I'm gonna just go ahead and place it in between the quotes. So that should be good. Now we're gonna go to the title here, and smartphone addiction. The date, whatever date it is, it's August 8th. I just put that. Of course, the author is somebody else, but you're gonna put your name right here. I just put mine, Peter D. All right, we'll go ahead and save that. Now we are good with the social links and things like that. So let's go ahead and find a video for this now. So we're gonna go back to Google, got my smart addiction, just put videos, and anything you want, you can choose whatever. But like I say, if you use YouTube, it's much easier, much faster. But if you want to download or you have your own video you like to use, that is perfectly fine. And now since we already have our iframe and everything else, I just want to get the source. Now if you look right here, actually I'm gonna show you something real fast. So I'm gonna just copy paste the whole thing. So right here, this width and height will not matter, because in the CSS, which will be right here, and if you find your iframe or video, which will be located right here just above the article social, I already have the width to 100%, the height to 350. So you don't necessarily need to keep this. You can go ahead and delete that. So that's why I say you can just get the source, and that's it. You don't have to worry about copy and pasting the whole thing. So I'm gonna just do that again. Just get the source. Just go ahead and delete all this, and then put the source in there. I'll paste that, and go ahead and save it. Now, obviously, there's you can look at it by doing the same thing, right click and opening it with Google. Then you can check it out. So we scroll down. So we got our image, you got our little paragraph, and now we got our phone. So you can link it like that. And another way is how we're going to do it, which is going to be in your home page. So you click on home, that's what you want. You want to see that image and the title right there. So let's open your index page and just scroll a little bit right here. And you'll see your tech news, and you can go ahead and delete that. Just put your smartphone addiction. And then you go ahead and copy and paste that into the next one. So these are two different titles. Well, this bottom one is for mobile, and the top one is for desktop. And I'll show you after we go through this. So now that we got our title in there, let's go ahead and save that and let's see what happens. Refresh. All right, I got my title. Now for the image. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing. I'm not gonna download it. I'm gonna just simply put it in the image. Now remember, to find your image, is the IMG source, and in between those quotes is where you're gonna put your image. So I'll go ahead and paste that in there. Go ahead and save it. Refresh. All right, so I got my image now. So when I hover, I see my title, and now the image. So next is gonna be to use your anchor tags, which is this A tag right here. And this is basically going to point to your blog. So I'm just go here, simply just copy that and put it right there in between the quotes. And like I said, you need the .html for it can work. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Refresh. So now we should be good. Got my image, got my title. Now when I click it, I go to my blog and scroll down. All right, so that's how it works. So now everything's good. Everything is gravy. And now the same thing goes if once you're done, next week you want to write another blog, you can simply copy and paste this right over your first one. So therefore it ends up in that order. So I'm going to save that. And I'll just rewind the video if you have to go through the process again. But I'm not. I'm just go ahead and show you that. Of course, there is going to be a new box. So you got your first story right here. Now your newest story will be right here. And like I said, just go through the process of getting your text ready, getting your image, writing your title, and things like that. So now that we have written it, so let's jump into your single blog one. And now, like I said, with the meta tags, you're going to scroll all the way up, and then simply right here, I'm just going to put all your keywords. So smartphone, addiction, addicted to smartphones, and so on and so forth. As many things as you can come up with, that's how you're going to do it. Same thing goes right here. If you're addicted to smartphones, read the blog. Stuff like that. Real fast, real simple. So next, I'm going to talk about forms.